Hey there, Cam here from Training Tilt. Welcome to this week's episode of Endurance Coaching Business. Today I'm going to be talking about better athlete engagement with less effort. But I've been thinking about starting a series on coaching and AI, not about necessarily the new AI coaching platforms, etc., but more about how to deal with new technology as an existing coach, how to integrate it into your business, how to think about it, etc. So let me know what you think about that idea, maybe a series of 5 or 6 specific articles about that. If you're struggling with anything around AI, let me know as well, because that'll be really useful in terms of thinking about what I could help with. But in the meantime, let's get on today's topic. So better athlete engagement with less effort. So the goal of this post is to talk about how to boost athlete engagement without adding extra hours to your week or extra effort, extra time. Maybe some simple systems to think about that will help endurance coaches create a better connection with their athletes early on with less effort. So as we all know, coaches care deeply about their athletes, but even the most dedicated coaches can run into the same problem, and that is that athlete engagement can start really strong sometimes, but then slowly drops off. So symptoms of that could be like missed workouts, fewer check-ins, and maybe less hard to spot things, maybe just a vague sense that they might be drifting off and are not engaged as they first were. So when this happens, coaches often think that they need to do more. So more messaging, more feedback, more accountability, but probably the truth is that disengagement usually isn't about more communication or more effort. It's about the structure of that engagement. So what I've learned after working with hundreds of coaches across running, cycling, triathlon, swimming, coaching businesses is that there are some misconceptions about athlete management and how to fix them, and some things you can do to help with that without adding more work to your week, because no one really needs that. So first important thing to remember is engagement is not equal to constant communication. So many coaches feel that they're failing if they aren't in constant communication or messaging athletes every day. But that constant communication isn't sustainable, especially as you grow your coaching roster, and in terms of like what you charge people versus the time that you put in, that can't be sustainable over time, because you just won't be able to manage that across all of your clients and earn a decent revenue from it. So engagement, it's not about frequency, it's more about predictability. So athletes feel supported when they know that, one, when they'll hear from you, how they can reach you. They should know what a good check-in actually looks like, and you want to set up front the expectation. So what you expect from them. So you can provide a great athlete experience with less messaging as long as the structure is clear and everyone knows where they stand. So next point, athletes disengage when they feel disconnected from the community, whether that's just you or the athlete, or you and all of your athletes, not the plan itself. So, you can easily assume that disengagement is about the training plan itself. Is it too hard? Is it too easy? Is it not personalized enough? But more often, disengagement happens when athletes feel like they're doing everything alone. So humans stick with habits better when they're part of something bigger, and a community can be that. So even if it's small, a community can help create shared motivation, a sense of belonging, more reasons to show up every day, even if they're actually training on their own, and accountability that doesn't rely solely on you as the coach to provide that accountability. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be weekly discussion threads in a community, a monthly challenge that everyone is doing, all of your clients can be doing, or even just a space where athletes can post their wins or their issues that can go a long way, where the community can help answer those questions as well. So next point, content. So content's important in terms of all of the things we've spoken about so far, but almost all coaches have enough content, and so the quantity of content isn't typically the problem, it's access. So as a coach, you're probably already sitting on loads of content: strength routines, nutrition guides, race day checklists, gear recommendations, how to navigate injury niggles, etc. All that sorts of thing that lots of coaches, well, almost all coaches have built that up over their career and have it sitting somewhere. So the issue isn't that the issue is that athletes can't necessarily find that specific content when they need it. So your content might be spread across emails, PDFs, your own Google Drive, some old posts in Facebook groups. And athletes can end up confused and disengaged if they can't easily access, search, find that content when they need it. So a simple central content library can solve more engagement problems than most coaches expect. So engagement, next point, engagement can be won or lost in the first week of a coaching relationship. So most disengaged athletes were actually lost at the very beginning. So that can result from like a rushed or unclear or non-existent onboarding process. So that can create uncertainty. Athletes hate uncertainty, hesitation, low confidence. Low confidence will mean that your athletes won't commit to training, fewer check-ins, and a disconnect that carries on into the actual training itself. So strong onboarding isn't about like fancy materials or anything. It's about giving your athletes a sense of clarity and momentum. So clarity is probably the most important thing there. Simple and clear. So for examples, what a good onboarding sequence might include: first up, a welcome message explaining how your coaching works. So it's easy to assume that it's simple enough that everyone will understand how coaching works, but you might get athletes that never had a coach before and they'll have no idea. You might have athletes that have been with different coaches and their system might have been completely different. It might have been simpler, it might have been more complex. And they'll probably come in assuming that yours is similar when it could actually be completely different. A short getting started or start here guide that athletes can always come back to, but you need to show it to them up front, and probably you want that to be automated. And number 3, plan for the first week that is intentionally simple and achievable so they don't get overwhelmed in the very first week of training and begin to wonder whether they've chosen the wrong coaching system. So these small touches make a much bigger difference than you might think. So next point, which is related, is a system beats effort every time. So most coaches rely on effort to impress and engage their athletes. They work harder, they respond faster, and they try to be everywhere at once. But long-term athlete engagement doesn't come from effort. It comes from a system that supports athletes even when you as the coach are not online or not available to answer their questions. So what does that mean in practice? It means a home for all of your content. It means a predictable communication rhythm that everyone knows up front. It means a place for athletes to connect with you and each other. And it means a coaching workflow that doesn't require reactive responding or messaging from you as the coach all day, every day. So done right, the system actually reduces the time you need to spend trying to keep athletes motivated, but actually gets better results. So that's it. Final thoughts. Athlete engagement isn't about being a cheerleader, a therapist, or a 24/7 accountability partner. It's about building simple, reliable structures that help athletes feel supported, connected, and confident. And if they feel supported, connected, and confident, they will dive into the training with much more commitment and then, of course, get better results. So, and when you do that well, you won't just retain those athletes, but you'll become a coach that everyone raves about to their friends, and then you'll get referrals, etc. So if you've got good system in place for your coaching business already, I'd love to hear about them. And if you think this has been useful, I'd love to hear too. So just a final note that Training Tilt, if you're not an existing coach, it can provide all of these things for you. So we build in an onboarding system so you can connect up your intake forms, etc., to the actual sign-up process. And we're actually building a new onboarding feature with an interactive onboarding. Let me know if you're interested in that as well. We have some coaches using that in beta version and it's working out really well. It is saving a lot of time and back and forth. You can embed videos, content. We'll have forms built into that soon as well. So yeah, and if you're not a coach already, please sign up for a trial and see what we've got going, especially if you're a regular listener. But that's all for now, and I hope that helps, and I will talk to you again soon.